So we're just like a month away from the Rise of Skywalker, and as a Star Wars fan, as a very, very big Star Wars fan, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm very hyped to see that movie. My displeasure with The Last Jedi notwithstanding, this is a good time to be a Star Wars fan. Mandalorian drops in just a couple hours. Jedi Fallen Order on Friday. Another episode of The Mandalorian on Friday. And of course, Star Wars Resistance is a badass show. And we have just a month until Rise of Skywalker. It's a good time to be a fan. We got some good stuff coming down the pipeline. But what I don't like, especially when it comes to YouTube commentary, has a lot to do with fake news. I don't like fake news. I think it's I think a lot of people out there have no connection to Hollywood, but they just make a lot of crap up, right? We all know Mike Zero just makes a lot of crap up, and I give him credit for the type of crap he makes up because it's kind of an idiot savant to sit there every day and come up with 3 to 4 videos that are just completely fluff and full of it. And it works for him. And so that's the game he wants to play. But I do think that those of us who in this regard want the truth, should definitely start calling out more fake news. And we don't, but we should. And people out there need to stop being afraid of other YouTubers and their audiences because, look, if you don't hold them to account, how are they going to change? If they're going to change. So that's what I want to talk about this year. Exclusive Star Wars Episode 9 Rise of Skywalker rumors debunked. Now, this is coming off of nerdreport.com. Luis Lecca is the writer. Luis Lecca runs Nerd Report, aka NukeTheFridge. He's a friend of mine. And these are scoops that he got from people he knows that works in LA and have worked on the movie. All right. He knows people who have done this. So this is not like I heard from a friend through the grapevine what's going on. This is direct source material here, and he has the exclusive. So, saying here, on December 20th, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, the so-called final chapter of the Skywalker saga will hit theaters. The tradition of speculation, talking about rumors and theories about what to expect in the next film, has hit a fever pitch for The Rise of Skywalker, but what makes it different this time? Unfortunately, rumors are being reported as fact, and most rumors are invented with the purpose of hurting the film, and he's not wrong. I mean, look, let's be fair. The rumors, a lot of the stuff you hear is never phrased in a good way. How many times do you hear leaks are coming out of a movie and it's a good thing? You never hear that, right? It doesn't matter what it is. It's never a good thing. And it's sometimes very difficult to not be caught up in that, to be fair, right? It's sometimes very difficult to not get caught up in that. So more or less, Luis here debunks everything because this is what he knows and what he's getting. So there's a George Lucas cut of the movie. He says that's 100% false. Although I love George Lucas and I wish that somehow he could one day come back and direct one more Star Wars trilogy that everyone would love, my sources are telling me that Lucas has no involvement in the direction or writing of The Rise of Skywalker. We know he went to the set of The Mandalorian. He's probably more interested in that because that's more of a love letter to him through Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. He probably wants nothing to do with The Rise of Skywalker because, well, I mean, he did kind of call Disney white slavers after The Force Awakens came out. And, so there's been no proof of that. And again, a lot of people are trying to say that as a way to continuously attack the movie. Says here, there have been massive reshoots at the cost range of about $300 million. This is also 100% false. The extent of reshoots in the film are extremely minimal and almost insignificant, nothing out of the realm we see for any other film with a large budget. And I have talked about that before. I went to David F. Sandberg, who directed Shazam and Lights Out, and I asked him, hey man, what can you tell me about reshoots? And he just goes, well, he's like, without going into a lot of details on it, he's like, you shoot a movie, you go back, you look at the movie, and if you go, well, movie needs X, then you go out and you shoot X. And that's really about it. And you always fine tune and craft certain things and make it a certain way. You always want to do that. You always want to go back into the revisionary process to make something as best as it can possibly be before going out for public consumption. An analogy I've used before is, do you think a writer would just release the first draft of his novel without going through the editorial process and the revision and rewriting process? The answer to that is no. Movies are a multi-$100 million endeavor that sometimes have upwards, if not over 15,000 people working on them at any given time. So of course they're going to spend the time to make sure that it's as good as it possibly can in order to be able to reach the maximum amount of people and then therefore get the maximum amount of profit. It's not rocket science to figure out how Hollywood works. Hollywood is profit driven. Why would they release something that is subpar? I mean, it happens, but it's like in a case like this, a big budget, tentpole film. It doesn't make any sense. But people out there are claiming that it is, and they're running with it because fake news, fake news. Now, there are 3 different cuts of the film, and some people are saying that there are 6. He says, I'm here to tell you that according to my real source, the studio is extremely happy with the 1 cut of the film they are releasing. And of course, that is coming off of another rumor that was reported by Midnight's Edge and a few other people saying that there were 6 endings. Well, they might tease different things. Now remember, they do cut different things a certain way. We have seen situations in regards to, let's say, Suicide Squad, where you had the trailer company come in and cut a version of the movie, and David Ayer cut a version of the movie, and they have competing cuts of the films. Again, these things sort of happen. In the case of David Ayer, it got pretty bad, and he ended up losing out in the end, and that was a Warner Brothers decision. In this particular case, it would seem that because J.J. Abrams is the one that is overseeing the post-production of this, the likelihood of there being just the 1 cut, the 1 ending, makes the most amount of sense. They might try a couple different variations to see whether or not they want to, do this a little bit longer, or maybe they want to trim this up, or they want to extend this, or add this line of dialogue. I mean, every one of those things would technically be considered a cut. If you export it and that is one version of the movie that is missing an extra 5 seconds, then that's considered a cut. So again, take this with an extreme grain of salt, but really Lewis here, and I believe him, is saying that they're happy with the 1 cut that they've got. Now, and finally, and this is the big one here. This is the big one. Test screenings. This is the one that I discussed with Popcorn Planet. Lucasfilm does not host public test screenings. Not only is that is the truth for this film, but it's been the truth for previous installments in the franchise. So there you go, friends. A few facts that have been dropped on this article. Let's hope the December 19th Rise of Skywalker satisfies everyone. And you know what? I hope it does satisfy everyone, even its haters. I do. I really hope they like it. But when you talk about the test screening aspect of it, and again, this goes back to Doomcock and everything. And I know, like on Popcorn Planet's video about it, they were like, no, I love Doomcock. Look, man, if you're going to push out fake news, you got to be called out for pushing out fake news. All right. This isn't like a sugar coating. Let me just tickle your fanny while you're lying to people. No, you lied to people. Let's just be fair. Admit it. Admit it. Either you got bad intel that you ran with, which is probably more likely than not, or you made it up. I mean, that's really what it boils down to here. And we, as creators on this platform, have a responsibility to vet this kind of stuff. Lewis here, he's got the people that he talks to. We know some of the same people, and he's got trustworthy sources. He lives and works in LA. He is what you would call access media. He goes to the screenings. He goes to the press junkets. He's the one who got the Victoria Alonso, why are you calling them X-Men? Why not X-women quote that went around the internet, right? And no one gives him credit for it. But this guy is in the thick of it in Los Angeles. So I would take his word 100% over anyone else's in regards to this particular area of commentary on YouTube and where the information comes from, because he is in it. And I know this because he frequently calls me from these junkets and shows me stuff that he gets from behind the scenes. So I know how connected he is. And he's also proved it when we've hung out in LA and at Comic-Con. So it's like the dude knows what's going on. So take this information with a grain of salt. Anything coming out of a certain side group of people that profit off of fake news and hyperbole, take that with a grain of salt, and always look for the sources. And in this particular case, know the background of the person involved, so on and so forth. But I'll leave it all to you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. This video is supported by patrons like you. If you'd like to become a patron, please head over to patreon.com/Matt Jarbo.